Welcome to Chart of the Day Cafe for Tuesday, November 15th, 2016. Just going to read our disclaimer quickly. Trading stocks has a high level of risk and viewers should complete their own due diligence on any stock or underlying that they intend to own. 100% of the content of this video and communique is intended for journalistic and educational purposes only. This video and all indicators, strategies, and articles herein should not be construed as investment advice. As always, thank you so much for your patience with that. So as regular viewers well know, we always start our videos off with a look at the Russell Index, and for that we use the IWM, which is the ETF that represents the Russell 2000, and we step back to take a look at it on a 5-year monthly time frame. We want to get a look at the bigger picture. So we were paying attention to this blue channel that the Russell traded within through all of 2014, had this little lift up and out in 15, hit this shaded light blue line, and then price sold off pretty considerably right down to these lower levels here that we all remember. But price strength came back into the market, bringing us right back up to where we are right here, right now, right back up at our shaded light blue line. And look at the bar so far for the month of November. A lot of strength in that. So I'm going to pull it away from the 5-year monthly to the 2-year weekly chart. We want to better see how price is behaving. So we had this black trend line drawn in here. We put it in several weeks ago saying if the Russell was going to make new highs and get over our shaded light blue line, it was going to have to get through our trend line, and sure enough, wow, it sure did. So this was the US election day Trump win move higher in the Russell, and here is where we are right here, right now. So we're at our light blue shaded line. We're up and over it. We'll see what occurs in this area and whether that price strength can continue, but the bar from last week was certainly very strong and the volume was there, so you want to be aware of that. I'm going to move it away from the 2-year weekly to the 9-month daily. Now, we had a doji yesterday, which is indecision, so we'll see. That's a big, long stretch. It would seem to me that that's a little bit too high and too stretched, but as we all know, nobody knows what's going to happen. It could indeed go higher. There were some retail numbers that came out this morning that the market liked. They were favorable. So perhaps we will go higher here, but you want to be aware of that doji at this very important area. So with that, we will be putting a chart out today, because you know at Chart of the Day Cafe, it's all about putting charts out into strength, and the Russell is indeed showing that strength with price on the Russell up and over the blue line, this blue 8-day EMA. So where I'm going to choose from this morning, I just want to walk you through my thinking a little bit. I'm going to go back to the 2 sectors that we've been really keeping an eye on. So I'm going to move it away from the daily chart to the 2-year weekly chart. We've been really focusing on the banks and the transports. So let me just go over to those indices. This is the banking sector. We had it in this wedge. It broke out of that wedge with authority. So it is showing real strength and a really solid move higher. Looks a little stretched to me. This is the weekly chart, keep in mind. And the transports, same thing. It broke out of our little wedge here that we were keeping an eye on, and these are the weekly charts showing a lot of strength. Where I am going to choose my chart today is in a sector that should, if these 2 are the leading indicators, then this one needs to catch up, and that is technology. So here's the 2-year weekly chart. We're using XLK as our proxy for the technology sector. You can see this is an area, my orange line is support. It was resistance through all of this area here. We're looking at the 2-year weekly chart, but it broke through that area of resistance, and it's come up to an area where I would suspect that technology needs to catch up here a little bit, and so I am choosing my pick for today from that sector, and it is a name that maybe some of you will not know. It's Skyworks Solutions. So I'm going to pull it away to the 5-year monthly chart because I want you to see the big picture on this one. I've been putting these videos out for a while. Skyworks was a pick for us way back here. It ran up a little bit from our area where we identified it, but then it sold off, came into this area here. It consolidated, and it looks as though it's trading in a little wedge here, so I think it's worth keeping an eye. Let me tell you a little bit more about it. Skyworks Solutions offers diverse standard and custom linear products supporting automotive, broadband, cellular infrastructure, energy management, industrial, medical, military, and cellular handset applications. The company's portfolio includes amplifiers, detectors, diodes, directional couplers, whatever that means. I know it's also an Apple supplier, and so that's one of the key reasons why I chose it for my Chart of the Day Cafe pick today. You know, we always look for value, and this one has a really nice high value score, so we can check the box on value. The second thing I look for is growth, and Skyworks Solutions has a nice forecasted earnings growth rate of 11%. So the third thing that we look for is a dividend. Skyworks Solutions does not pay a dividend, so value and growth are musts. The dividend is a nice to have, but not absolutely necessary, and in this case it is not there. And then the other thing I wanted to mention for people that are PE ratio people, the PE on it is 12.28. So let's get back to the chart. So here is our area of support, my orange line. We're looking at the 5-year monthly, and we're getting interested in this area here. So I'm going to move it away from the monthly to the 2-year weekly. And you can see my little green circle where we put it out before. It had a little lift from there, but not much, and then it just sold off. But it looks as though this looks interesting to me here, this little wedgie pattern that's taking place. So again, we're looking at the 2-year weekly chart, but if the markets continue higher, then I think technology needs to catch up, and this one is a good one to look towards in that area. You know, I'm never making any recommendations whatsoever. I do not own Skyworks. I'm just giving you the heads up on charts that I think look pretty interesting. So here's our daily chart. We're looking at the 9-month daily. You can see my trend line, my wedgie pattern here. If technology picks up today, it looks like it might be ripe for a little bit of a breakout. So I'm going to put my little green circle here. In preparation for these videos, you know I always like to put some other things in front of you. So for that, I'm going to go over to my Evernote, which is the easiest way for me to share this information with you. So let's check the boxes. Well, actually, before we do that, let's go and apply some boxes. So we've been talking about this website, Equity Clock. Amazing website. I love it. EquityClock.com. You can see that Skyworks Solutions is coming into a period of seasonal strength. There's the month of November, and it has a nice run up through the back half of November, through the first half of December. No guarantee that happens again this year, but you like to have those things in your favor. The other thing is, this is from FinViz. I just did this little screenshot. Upgrades and reiterating buys, all good. And then I'm going to include with today's video this article that I found. Here's an Apple supplier whose stock may soar in 2017. So you want to keep an eye on this chart for sure and perhaps add it to your watch list. So let's go back and check our boxes. For Skyworks Solutions, market in an uptrend. So we've got the IWM up and over that 8-day and showing strength. We're choosing a sector that we think in our strategy and our mindset, we think, okay, if banks and transports are breaking out, then technology may have to catch up. So the sector is, as I showed you on the chart, in an uptrend, up and over that line of support. On the 2-year chart, Skyworks Solutions, we looked at the 5-year monthly chart and the 2-year weekly chart. We can see that it's in an overall uptrend and sitting at an area of support on the 2-year. It's got a really good value score. I've highlighted these because these two things are absolute must have. Good value score, good growth score, forecasted earnings growth rate of 11%. It does not pay a dividend, so that box is not checked. It does not have a 3 and 8 cross yet. That box is not checked. Recent upgrades, yes. Seasonality, yes. And PE. So with that, I will leave you. We'll put another video out on Thursday, and thanks very much for watching.